If we don't make it to the pros or onto the cover of Sports Illustrated, that's okay, because there's every reason to believe we'll excel in something even bigger than sports. We'll excel in life.
There are lots of great reasons to play high school sports. Tell us your reason using the hashtag #MyReasonWhy.
This message presented by the NFHS and the Ohio High School Athletic Association.
The Motor City Madman is back. Ted Nugent, live in Dayton, Ohio this summer, July 12th at the Rose Music Center at the Heights. Tickets on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com in the Rose Music Center box office. Don't miss Ted Nugent live in concert at the Rose on July 12th.
You guys just didn't want it bad enough. That should have been an easy win. What were you doing out there? You got to hustle. You could have made that play if you'd been open.
On the car ride home after the game, when you think you're helping by telling me what I did wrong and what I need to work on, all I hear is that I'm not good enough, that I'm supposed to be perfect, that it's not okay to lose. On the car ride home, all I need to hear is how much you love me and enjoy watching me play, that my worth isn't determined by my performance, that even on my worst day, I am worthy, that you see me learning, growing, and doing my best, and that is enough.
This message presented by the OHSAA and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Cordell Transportation is looking for more weekend warriors. If you have a Class A CDL and would like to make some extra money casually driving weekend daytime routes, then Cordell Transportation is looking for you. Home daily, all loads round trip, no touch freight, and competitive pay. Full-time routes could become available if you're interested. Drive weekends at Cordell Transportation. Apply at CordellTransportation.com or call Ron at 937-277-7271. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Have you noticed bad behavior has become normalized at interscholastic athletic events? Some fans seem angry. They lack civility toward one another. Some even get aggressive and unruly. Time out. What is going on? This has to stop. Let's not forget, school sports aren't just about winning. And they're definitely not an excuse to take your frustrations out on the official or the opponent. They're about teaching lessons like perseverance, respect, and empathy, so students can learn and grow as people. All have a role to play in setting a good example for our students and teaching them these important values. So fans, it's time to step up your game and behave positively at interscholastic athletic events in Ohio.
This message presented by the OHSAA and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Now, back to the Justin Kinner Show, right here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM.
Well, we're only 2 series into the season, and there is only one team that is worse offensively than your Cincinnati Reds. We welcome you in. In fact, 2 of the worst 3 hitting teams in baseball from the state of Ohio. OH. I mean, I don't know what you want to say about that. I mean, the weather has not been that bad here in the state. I mean, it just hasn't. What is the excuse? I mean, Cleveland and Cincinnati cannot hit a damn baseball right now. What in the world is going on? But we welcome you in. It's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio, opening up right away with Cincinnati Reds. Look, every year I convince myself to be optimistic. Every year I convince myself that, hey, this is going to be a good season. The sad thing is, and people get mad at me when I say this, this is probably, I mean, one of the most talented rosters that the Reds have had in my lifetime. That is sad. Because they are talented. There is a lot of talent on this roster, but it is sad that this is the case because The front office feels good with this roster. The front office feels good with what they've rolled out there. And that's the thing that's kind of scary, is the fact that the Reds, who have had a lot of really good players come up through the system and a lot of really good hitters that have come up through the system, there's something about once they get to this level, I don't know if they're just not developed properly. They're overrated. I'm not really sure what it is. But even the really good players are the players I'm still scratching my head about. And it's too early for Sal Stewart, because Sal Stewart's been phenomenal, but Ellie was phenomenal early on. Matt McClain was phenomenal, early on. Jonathan India was phenomenal early on. He won Rookie of the Year, and they shipped him out a couple years later. So it's one of those things where I take back what I said. I feel like the Reds' developmental system is really, really good. They do a hell of a job developing them while they are there. But there's something about once they get here, they just, bam, hit a brick wall. I have no clue. I don't know what to make of it. So there you go, David Shaw. I thought signing Suarez solved all the lineup problems. I know you didn't say this, Justin, but that's how I feel the front office felt. I don't think that's how the front office felt at all. But at some point, the front office, I'm not too mad at the front office from a certain point, because you got to look at certain guys and say, hey, you proved you could do it in Dayton. You proved you could do it in Louisville. You proved that you could do it throughout the system. Why can't you do it here? At a certain point, like I look at Nick Krall and I get frustrated with Nick Krall in the front office at times, but then I'm like, but Nick Krall, you made solid trades, you made solid draft picks, and these guys developed. I mean, all of these guys are consistently throughout their minor league careers dropped in the top prospect rankings. How many the Reds have had elite prospects going throughout. Can't deny that. Those prospects, you got to give credit to the front office, because they scouted those prospects. They drafted those prospects. They developed those prospects, not the front office physically training them and developing them, but eyeing the talent, seeing the talent, putting the right coaches in place throughout the minor league system to develop that talent. And those guys have all developed really, really well. Look at Louisville. Louisville has a stacked roster. But in 3 years, when the majority of those guys are up and down the Reds lineup and not performing here, it's like, well, what happened? What is missing? What is going on? So no, constantly bearing the front. At some point, you got to look at Matt McClain and say, get your head out of your ass and hit the damn baseball. At some point, it has to be on the players. It's not all on Nick Krall. That's a lazy argument. It's a lazy excuse, because it's not like these guys were rated horrifically throughout their minor league careers. They were really good coming out of high school, really good coming out of college, really good in Dayton, really good in Louisville, really good in Chattanooga, really good in Daytona, really good in wherever the hell other minor league systems that the Reds had before they blew it all up. The bottom line is that at some point, it's no longer on Nick Krall. It's no longer on the Castellinis. It's no longer on anybody except them. It's up to Matt McClain to figure this crap out. It's up to TJ Friedel. It's up to the players. It's lazy to say it's the front office at this point, because what did the front office eyed really good talent in high school and college, drafted the really good talent in high school and college, developed them to the point to where they were some of the top prospects in all of baseball, not just the Reds' top prospects, but all of Major League Baseball. And at some point, it has to be on them. I don't want to hear Nick Krall. I don't want to hear the front office. It's the players. So Shaw to say something silly like, well, I thought Eugenio Suarez solved all their problems. No, he would have solved a lot of the problems had Matt McClain actually panned out the way that he should have. And again, he had a hell of a spring, and he had a solid start for as far as the first couple of games are concerned, and then stopped from there. He's been horrific. The Reds on the season right now are hitting as a team 187. Only one team in baseball is hitting worse than them, and that's the Athletics. And the Athletics don't have talent. The Reds do, or at least do based on who they were coming through the system. The Cleveland Guardians are hitting 189. The White Sox are hitting 192. 4 teams hitting under 200, and 2 of the 4 are from the state of Ohio. And one of those teams is our beloved and precious Cincinnati Reds. The Reds are off today, but to be fair, they were off yesterday and the day before that. I'm Justin Kinner. It's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio. Some of the best power hitting teams in baseball, the Angels and the Pirates. Both those teams have 10 home runs, 6 and 7 games into the season, more than anybody else. All right. The Cincinnati Reds, they have 6 home runs on the season, 2 of those from Sal Stewart, 2 of those from Eugenio Suarez. Eugenio Suarez is doing his part. Eugenio Suarez has multiple home runs. He leads the team in RBIs. Oh, but his average isn't great. His average has never been great. He's never been a guy that's going to flirt with 300 because he's a home run hitter, which means when he steps up to the plate, he's trying to knock the hell out of that ball and get it out of the ballpark, and which means he's not going to have a great average. He's never has, and he's going to strike out a lot, always has. But what he also always does is knocks the ball out of the ballpark, which is why he's one of the top RBI leaders in RBIs every year and one of the top leaders in home runs every year. He's done his job. He's done his part. That was a good signing by the Reds. But if Matt McClain plays the way he's supposed to, if TJ Friedl plays like he did last season, and really his whole career has been fine, he's a good, solid hitter. If Ellie would take that next step and be the star that everyone says, oh, Ellie deserves more. Ellie deserves to have a star hitting behind him. Well, that star now deserves Ellie to be hitting better in front of him. I mean, what are we doing? I'm pissed off, and I don't want to hear it's early. I don't care about early. This is a damn Cincinnati Reds team that needed all 162 games last season to make the postseason. In fact, they lost game 162 and only made it because the Mets lost on the final day. Don't tell me it's too damn early. Don't tell me it's early. I'm sorry for swearing a lot. I don't know what my problem is today. I was actually in a good mood, but I knew it because I knew as soon as we started talking Reds, it was going to take me off. This is a problem, and it's not Terry Francona. It's not Nick Kroll. It's not the Castellinis. It's not the front office. It's not developmental. It really isn't. Think about it. It's not as if, oh, man, the Reds, look at all these draft picks that have just not panned out to be anything at all. Look at all these guys they've called up that really weren't anything in the minors. No, these guys they've been really good in the minors. And then they get called up to the main roster and they just forget how to play. Doesn't make any sense. At some point, it has to be on the players. Simple as that. And you're not going to convince me otherwise. You could try. 937-518-1410. All social media has been taking me off. Oh, the front office this, the front office that. The front office should have done more. Done more of what? All right, expecting them to be the Dodgers. At some point, they're no longer the problem you are. They're not going to be the Dodgers. In fact, there's only one Dodgers. Maybe the Mets and Yankees, but even what? You know, when the Rays are really, really good, it's because very similar to the Reds, they draft well, develop well. But with the Rays, when those guys are called up, they play well. But when the Reds call these guys up, they look really, really good early on. They get you all to scoot up in your chair and buy in, and then the wheels fall off. TJ Friedl has just been absolutely egregious. I mean, 2 for 22, hitting .091. What are we doing? All right, Ellie De La Cruz hitting .208. Matt McClain hitting .190. Spencer Steer, 17 at-bats. He has one damn hit. One hit. How about Tyler Stevenson, the veteran on this damn roster? He's, sorry for swearing again, 1 for 13. Will Benson's 2 for 11, hitting .182. Stevenson's hitting .077. What is happening? And Dane Myers, put him in center field. Get TJ Friedl out. Oh, it's too early. I don't care. Games matter. Wins matter. Wins matter just as much on the last day of March, first day of April, as they do on the last day of September, heading into the dang postseason. I said dang, not damn, getting better. Jose Trevino, who I really liked last year. 1 for 7. I mean, I don't understand. Like, at some point, I don't want to hear about the front office. I don't want to hear about Nick Kroll. I don't want to hear about the developmental system. I don't want to hear anything. Oh, man, the Reds screwed this up. I don't think the Reds screwed it up. Matt McClain looked like a legitimate hitting defensive second baseman his rookie season because that's what he was throughout his entire career coming up through the system. Spencer Steer, same thing. Ellie De La Cruz was a generational talent. Now he's a generational pain in my behind, and he's been solid, but he has not taken that next step. He's no longer a project. Like, you've been in the league a few years, my guy. You only have 2 years in Cincinnati left, and maybe longer if you continue on this track. To be honest, he's becoming more and more affordable each and every day. I'm Justin Kinner. It's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio. Blood pressure is up. I'm going to go chill out. I'll come back whenever I've regained my composure, but I'm sorry. Y'all are ridiculous. Don't bring it up. I thought Suarez was going to fix all the problems. Well, if you thought that, that's on you. That's not on anybody else. Suarez has come in and he's done his job. This everyone else, literally everyone else, has not done theirs. Everyone else has failed, player-wise. This is on the players. This isn't on the front office. I'm sorry. It's just not. We'll be right back.
have foot pain? Foot pain is not normal regardless of your age or job. Podiatric physicians are the most qualified doctors to care for your feet and can provide important foot care solutions or shoe inserts to better manage foot pain. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state and are dedicated to providing
big project, big savings at Menards. Turn your tax refund into your next big project. That patio you've been dreaming of is more affordable than you think when you do it yourself. Get free estimates fast using our landscaping design program in-store or on Menards.com. Save big on the largest selection of concrete landscaping blocks at Menards. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
For some people, pain doesn't just hurt your body, it takes everything. That was Jay for 15 years.
I spent more time laying down in bed because even sitting on chairs hurt. I couldn't walk around, couldn't stand up straight. My pain got so bad, I was running out of hope, not just in treatment, but in life in general.
Then, just like you're doing right now, Jay heard a radio commercial right here in Dayton that led him to QC Kinetics and their regenerative treatments that go beyond masking pain.
Within an hour or two after the treatments, I felt like, 70% of what I was feeling was just sort of dissolved.
From surviving to living again. For Jay, that changed everything.
I'm able to do things. I get a chance to play with my grandkids. I'm physically not in that pain anymore because of QC Kinetics.
If you've been living in pain, this is your moment. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation. 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325.
In school sports, it's easy to see the wins, the moments that make headlines. But there's so much work that goes unseen for any of it to happen. My name is Phil Risen, and I'm the Executive Director of the National Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association. Throughout the country, athletic administrators dedicate countless hours to making life-changing opportunities possible for student athletes through sports. Their sacrifice is fueled by the belief that every student can grow and deserves their time to shine. On behalf of the NIAAA, we want to thank every athletic administrator for your tireless dedication to providing 7.8 million students across the country a path to a better future.
This message presented by the NIAAA, the National Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Do you have foot pain? Foot pain is not normal regardless of your age or job. Podiatric physicians are the most qualified doctors to care for your feet and can provide important foot care solutions or shoe inserts to better manage foot pain. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state and are dedicated to providing the highest quality foot and ankle care. We've been serving the profession and the public for over 100 years. For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Harry Douglas here. Let me ask you something. What if you can enjoy the taste of a cocktail, the warmth of a spirit, and still stay fully in control? That's RK Zero Proof, a pioneer in the alcohol-free spirits category. RK delivers bold flavor and a real warming sensation with zero alcohol, zero sugar, zero carbs, and 0 calories. Perfect for nights out, social gatherings, or anytime you want the experience of a drink without sacrificing tomorrow. Check it out at rkbeverages.com. That's ARKAY beverages.com. RK, all the flavor, none of the alcohol.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now, back to the Justin Kinner Show, right here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM.
All right, and we are back. It's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio. Shaw still chiming in. He says, you and I talked about this a few months ago when I dropped another word on air. I was saying this then. We were putting a lot of hope and wishes into guys who have never done it. This was my point back then. What would the answer be if it didn't work? Well, it is not working. Well, we can't. I'm not talking about it not working as if it's not going to work. It's not working this second, 5 games in. But look, we're 5 games in. My opinion is based on where we are at this point. 5, 6 games in, whatever the hell it is. 6 games in, they've been horrendous. And when you say, well, we're putting a lot of stock into guys who haven't done it before, what are you talking about? All right, this isn't a old roster by any means, but I've seen TJ Friedel play well. I've seen Matt McClain play well. I've seen L.A. De La Cruz play well. I've seen Spencer Steer play well. I said Tyler Stevenson already. I've seen these guys play well. Last year, Emilio Pagan was absolutely lights out. He was not he knocked the Reds lights out yesterday. He was horrible. I've seen him play good enough before. He was good enough to get 2 years, $20 million, and that was a good signing. Reds fans, we all like that signing, including me, still do. Guys are not doing their job right now. I've seen TJ Friedel do his job at a high level. I've seen it from Matt McClain. I've seen it from Spencer Steer. I've seen it from Tyler Stevenson. I've seen it from L.A. De La Cruz. Eugenio Suarez. What do you mean we're putting a lot of stock into guys that we haven't seen do it before? What are you talking about? Yes, we have. These guys are not doing it now. And now is the problem. So you look up and down this lineup, there are a lot of guys who are not producing, all right? 937-518-1410. You could text or call to jump in on the conversation or in the chat on the Justin Kinder Show Facebook page. Who is the biggest concern? Who is your biggest concern in this lineup? I put this out on our Facebook pages over the weekend. Who is your biggest concern in this lineup? That's what I want to know. Scott Campbell says, how can none of the blame be put on the Castellinis? They cry small market when the smallest market in the division owns the division. The Marlins cannot draw the Dragons. Our front office has nothing but excuses, and we continue to give them a pass. Give them a pass for what? The front office, all right, made enough right decisions to draft all of these guys who were super high on the MLB top 100 prospect list. They're some of the top Reds prospects. They ball out at every level. And they don't ball out when they get here. And that's the problem. The Castellinis, I do blame them for a lot of stuff. All right, they efforted to get Kyle Schwarber in the offseason, didn't get him. They got Eugenio Suarez. Do you want him to get more? Yes. I'm not putting him in a top 5, top 10 ownership category. I don't think they're a very good ownership group, but I don't think they're very bad either. I think that they get a lot more hate because he poked the bear years ago when he said, where are you going to go? But this team, the only reason we're mad is because we have expectations, and we have expectations because these players were good. And I'm confused, Scott, because weren't you the one that just told me last week, it's way too early? It's way too early. It's way too early. But here we are 3 days later, and man, 6 games in, screw the front office. Nah, this is on the players right now. As of right now, I'm putting all of this on the players. All of this is on the players right now. From top, bottom. Ron Howard, where'd you go? I see you in the chat. Ron Howard says, I would have to put some blame on Tito. He has to keep this team fired up. Sorry, but it's his job. That's the thing. I've never believed this in any sport. If you are a professional that needs your boss to tell you to do your job, you're not a professional. I don't think when L.A. De La Cruz is good, I don't think it's because Tito went up to him that day and said, hey, be good today. And Tito has just forgot to say, hey, be good today. No, same thing in the NFL. People talk about the Bengals and Zach Taylor. Man, he just doesn't get them fired up. Like, what are you talking about? They are young adult men getting paid millions of dollars to play a kid's game. Just like these guys. If you need somebody to come up to you and say, hey, play hard, I don't want you on my team anyways. Scott Campbell says, I'm not saying that the players are at fault for not performing, but the entire team, which includes the front office, should shoulder equal shares of blame. No. That's the thing, Scott, because if Matt McClain would play like he's supposed to, Spencer Steer play like he's supposed to, TJ Friedel play like he's supposed to, all right, if I said Tyler Stevenson plays like he's supposed to, if L.A. De La Cruz plays, and he's been okay, but if he plays like he's supposed to, if up and down these guys do what they're supposed to, we're not having this conversation about the front office. So no, this is on the players. It just is. Because these aren't bad players. These are players that aren't playing well right now, and I just don't understand it. Because we've seen, Shaw said earlier, well, you're putting a lot of stock into guys we've never seen do this before. What are you talking about? Yes, we have. This isn't the Dodgers. I get that. But man, oh man, this is horrendous. Who in this lineup is your biggest concern? Who is the guy you look at in this lineup and say, man, I have no faith that they are going to turn it around? I'm beginning to put McClain in that category, and I don't care how good he looked in spring, and I don't care that I was excited about him coming out of spring. I don't care that I've been back and forth on him, because my goodness, has he been bad. 21 plate appearances, 4 hits, hitting under 200. I mean, he's second on the team in strikeouts. I mean, the only 2 guys that have struck out more than Matt McClain, Elly De La Cruz and Eugenio Suarez, but at least those 2 do enough to overcompensate for their strikeouts. Matt McClain, nothing. It's strikeout or nothing. With Eugenio Suarez, it's strikeout or home run. Elly De La Cruz, it's strikeout or draw walk, single base hit, steal bases, still be able to take over a game. With Matt McClain, it's strikeout and strikeout only. Thank God for Sal Stewart. I mean, that's the crazy thing. The Reds are the second. They are the second worst hitting team in baseball behind the A's, and that's with Sal Stewart getting out to the hot start that he is. 9 of 19, hitting .474, 3 doubles, 9 hits, 5 runs, 18 total bases. He's drawn 7 walks, 3 RBIs, 2 home runs. You take him away. Oofa. 937. All right. 518-1410. Text or call. Which of these players in this lineup is the biggest concern for you? Which one do you have the least faith is going to turn it around? Because I'm at the point, like I saw somebody say, Ke'Bryan Hayes, to be fair, and I'm not letting him off the hook, but this goes back to, if you're going to be really bad at something, you got to be really good at something too. You got to bring something to the table, which is why for me, it's Matt McClain. I don't know what he brings to the table. It's not like he's a lights out defensive second baseman. He doesn't, wow you on the base paths when he gets on the base paths. He doesn't, get extra base hits. He's not doing anything. He is just striking out. He is an automatic out. This team is not good enough to have so many automatic outs up and down that lineup. So Ke'Bryan Hayes, when people say, well, Ke'Bryan Hayes is my biggest concern. Yes, I hate how bad he is with the bat in his hand, but he's at least the best or the top 3 defensive third baseman in baseball. He at least brings something to the table. On any given night, he's contributing in some capacity. Matt McClain is not. Right? Like, Matt McClain is not. I look up and down, so I can't put Ke'Bryan Hayes at the top of that list because, like, Ke'Bryan Hayes has never been good offensively. And maybe I'm letting him off the hook, but my goodness, 1 for 15. But Spencer Steer right now to be 1 for 17 when we have seen him do it before. Spencer Steer is a very solid player. He's not going to win any awards throughout his career, but he's one of those where if you're going to have a team that doesn't have a lot of options, he's an okay option to have. He could put the bat on the ball. The fact that as good of an outfielder as he is, the only reason he's not at first base is because of how phenomenal Sal Stewart is. I mean, he was a legitimate, a potential award-winning first baseman last year. Spencer Steer could play. So that's why I get mad when he 1 for 17. What are we doing? Suarez, 5 for 23 on the season with 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, 11 total bases, 5 hits, 3 runs. I mean, Suarez is doing his part. He's doing his part. As far as De La Cruz is concerned, 5 of 24, hitting .208. He's drawn 3 walks, couple home runs, couple RBIs, scored 3 runs himself. And again, I still expect more from him because I'm sitting there saying, well, at least he's doing something. Yeah, he's doing something compared to the rest of the horrific, guys that aren't producing right now. I don't know what to make of it. Scott Campbell. Scott, I appreciate the fact that you let me yell at you. You just keep hanging out in the chat. I appreciate that. I really do. But Scott Campbell says, who is my biggest concern? Matt McClain. He has to get on base in front of Elly, Suarez, and Stewart. Yeah, I think of all the guys right now struggling. And by the way, I'm going to put TJ Friedel pretty close. But I mean, we talk so much about where to put Elly in the lineup. I mean, there are times where I'm like, I would love to see what Elly would do just batting leadoff. I would love to lead off Ellie. I know that may not be a popular take for a lot of people, but I would love to see Ellie lead off. And I think you can get away with leading Ellie. I think you can get away with putting Ellie in the leadoff spot if Matt McClain would do his job. If you could go, in all seriousness here, if you could go from Ellie De La Cruz to Matt McClain of what we expect him to be, right in to, let's say, Sal Stewart, right into Eugenio Suarez, right into Spencer Steer, I think you have something there. And even if TJ Friedel gets that bat hot again, I still like the idea of having him kind of hit a little bit lower in the order just to have some more, a bat that's consistent right there. But I really would not mind seeing Ellie in that leadoff spot because he's a guy that, yes, he can hit for power from time to time, but he's a guy that he draws walks. He finds a way to get on base. And when he gets on base, he creates havoc. And he would get on base way more. I mean, I just don't know. There's really not a whole lot of options to put in that leadoff spot if you take TJ Friedel out. But TJ Friedel's not just in danger of being taken out of the leadoff spot. He's been so bad, I want to take him out of the lineup right now. But if we take him out of the lineup for being bad offensively, I think we're just going to go, you're only going to have 3 people in the lineup on a given night, if I'm being fair. Scott Campbell says, I've been married for 30 years. You yelling at me is nothing. I need to step my game up then. Tell Mrs. Campbell to be nice. How about that? Oh, man. All right. I'm Justin Kinner. It's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio. I don't know when you do text the hotline, if you guys don't mind, I'm not going to lie, I complain about it to our corporate office all the time. They provided us with the new text line for everybody, and I think it sucks. I think what they provide, I think what they picked, I think Text Groove, what we use, it's the worst. All right, we don't even know who's texting us. It just sends a number and a message. So when people message in, Kinner, you suck, super, I don't even, you think you're making a difference, you're not. I don't even know who's saying it, all right? But, I might feel it a little more if it's Mike from Kettering texting in to say, Kinner, you suck. It's going to hurt a little more because I can put a name and a location with it. When you message in, I don't know who it is. I don't know who to give credit to. But this individual says, we all know that the Reds needed an outfield bat. But, hey, where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? My thing is, when people say that the Reds need an outfield bat, I don't really care where the bat comes from. I don't care if it's a catcher that can hit. I don't care if it's a third baseman that can hit. I don't care if it's a second baseman. The Reds just needed bats. But I am not defending the Reds here, but I understand slightly where they were coming from in some degree. Like, more times than not, they're making stupid decisions because they are cheap. I'm not going to argue with you there. But the Reds, at some point when you call prospects up, and when people get mad at how the Reds do it, the Reds are trying to do what the Rays do. And what the Rays do is they develop a lot of their talent and they throw them all out there. And guess what? The Rays' talent's really good in the minors, just like the Reds players are really good in the minors. But something happens over in Tampa that doesn't happen here. The second they leave the minor league level and they get called up to Tampa, all of a sudden, like, those guys know how to continue playing and elevating and getting better. Something happens where, I don't know if it's the food, if it's the water, if it's just the crappy city that is Cincinnati. I don't really know what it is. We all know Cincinnati, the city kind of sucks right now. Let's just be honest. It's not a good city. All right, the Bengals are bad. You have an injury-prone quarterback, and you have a baseball team that has talent that just all of a sudden becomes untalented the second they arrive in that city. I mean, if the Reds just played in Dayton, everything would be fine. Once again, I'm angry, so I'm taking it out. I just started taking shots at Cincinnati and Joe Burrow because that makes me feel better. But, it's what it is. I mean, the Reds, to a certain extent, do what the Rays do. They go out, they draft and develop really well. They consistently have players in the top MLB 100 top prospect list, just like the Reds do. And when the Rays call those guys up, they produce. When the Reds call our guys up, they don't. And I don't get it. And I don't get it. That's why I kind of don't blame the front office a little bit. It's a results-based business, and I want the front office to do more. But I'm not going to blame them for this right now because everyone wants to point a finger somewhere. I'm pointing it at the players. At a certain point, the players have to play. You wanted them to go get, an outfielder. You wanted them to go get this. Yeah. I'm pretty sure there are Dodgers fans who wish the Dodgers would have added something else. As stupid as that sounds, I know there's probably Dodgers fans out there. Man, I like our two-time back-to-back World Series winning Dodgers. But, man, I really wish they would have done something. I don't know. Dodger fans, you listen, how do you fan? What's your complaints? I feel like it's like rich people complaining about stuff. Like, man, my 65-inch TV is too small. Like, I don't know. I don't know what y'all, rich people, I don't know what you complain about. Dodger fans, I don't know what y'all complain about. Must be nice, though. I'm just saying. But, yeah, this front office group will never be perfect. But blaming them for TJ Friedl being 2 for 22 to start the season is silly. Blaming the front office for Matt McClain, who was really good throughout his entire minor league career, really good his rookie year, and has been butt cheeks since. I can't blame the front office. Because if the Rays had a Matt McClain player that was coming up through there, they would have played him. And if he didn't pan out, no one would have said, oh, man, I blame the Rays front office for Matt McClain not panning out. At some point, it has to be on the player. It's not the Castellini's fault that Spencer Steer is 1 for freaking 17. It's not the Castellini's fault that Tyler Stevenson is 1 for 13. I'm not bending over backwards to defend the Castellinis, but y'all got to really be smarter about picking and choosing when to point the finger at the front office. The Reds aren't losing because of what the Reds did. Even if the Reds would have given them one more bat. Let's say the Reds got Kyle Schwarber and Eugenio Suarez. They're still not winning a lot of games when you have guys who, I'm counting, let's see. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys who are hitting under 200. I'm also counting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm counting 5 guys hitting under 100. I don't care if you would have got Kyle Schwarber and Eugenio Suarez. You're not winning baseball games when 95% of your lineup is cheeks and not the strip club. It's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio. Frustrating. This goes out to Kozar Newsom on YouTube. I've always wondered why Cruz doesn't lead off. I feel like, he has like a little Ricky Henderson type of vibe to him, create some chaos. I want him in the outfield, and I want him in the leadoff spot. I want Ellie De La Cruz in the outfield, and I want him in the leadoff spot. But the reason the Reds have never been pressured to put him in the leadoff spot is because, honestly, TJ Friedl has not been a bad leadoff hitter. He just hasn't. But if this continues, the Reds need to make some adjustments. And one of the adjustments I would make, I'd put Ellie in the leadoff spot. I'd bat him leadoff. And I get it. He strikes out too much to put him in the leadoff spot. But, do you want Ellie's strikeout problem, or do you want TJ Friedl's 2 for 22 problem? At that point, pick your poison. We'll be right back.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life, your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. 2689 Commons, Dayton.
CenterPoint Energy, Columbia Gas, Duke Energy, and Enbridge Gas want you to dig safely. It's easy to do, and it's the law. Contact Ohio 811 every time you dig.
Cordell Transportation is looking for more weekend warriors. If you have a Class A CDL and would like to make some extra money casually driving weekend daytime routes, then Cordell Transportation is looking for you. Home daily, all loads round trip, no touch freight, and competitive pay. Full-time routes could become available if you're interested. Drive weekends at Cordell Transportation. Apply at CordellTransportation.com or call Ron at 937-277-7271. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Looking to launch a career in the skilled trades but don't know where to begin? Part-time service in the Ohio Army National Guard can help. You can kickstart your career by enlisting in one of our many trades-based jobs: mechanic, driver, electrician, plumber, just to name a few. You'll be paid to learn these skills and get on-the-job training when you report to your unit 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks in the summer. The Guard can also pay for your civilian trade certification in the career field of your choice. The Ohio National Guard Scholarship Program covers the cost of getting a CDL or becoming an EMT, as well as licensing programs in food services, healthcare, information technology, cosmetology, automotive services, and much more. Don't delay. A career in the skilled trades awaits you. Learn more about job and educational opportunities in the trade industries at nationalguard.com/OH. Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard, in coordination with the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
I'm U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy.
We all seem to be in a rush these days, from work to driving our kids around. But when you're behind the wheel, please do not speed. A few minutes saved by going faster is never worth the risk. So follow the speed limit, enjoy the drive, maybe bring some snacks for the kids, and know that along the way, you're getting quality time with your family.
Paid for by NHTSA. Some people reach a line and stop. Some hit a wall and turn around. Then there are the ones who cross the line, climb the wall, face obstacles, and turn them to their advantage. That's where we come in. We're the next rodeo. We design bold marketing that drives real growth. A creative partner for businesses ready to push forward beyond what's expected. The Next Rodeo. Learn more at thenextrodeo.com.
1410 Wing AM, Dayton's ESPN Radio, powered by...
Need an online notary? We can help. Hi, this is Mike Foley, your Montgomery County Clerk of Courts. We can notarize your documents remotely at no charge to you. All you need is a smartphone or laptop. Visit courthouse2u.com for more info.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a cybersecurity engineer at a publicly traded company.
We've been hacked! They're through our firewall!
How is that even possible?
They got my password.
Please don't tell me your password was password.
It's actually password 1.
This is a job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
From posters and presentations to labels and loyalty cards, Staples has all the print to boost your brand. Shop now in-store or you can shop online. Staples, that was easy.
If you need new roofing, siding or gutters, skylights or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. See Lance Roofing and Siding at their new location at 6903 Dayton Springfield Road in Enon. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722. Online at lanceroofing.com.
may not seem like it, but I promise you I'm a Reds fan. May not seem like it, but I promise. Promise. But I am kind of glad that they have an off night tonight. I don't want to be disappointed like that for the third straight night in a row. I kind of need an off night from being disappointed by the Reds. But weird. I mean, again, it's a very weird already start. Like last year was weird. It was a lot of feeling the high of highs with that team and then quitting on them for stretches of time. And I didn't expect to feel that already 6 games in, 2 series in. But I mean, you start out 3-1 and then to get outscored 16-6 over the final 3 games. Or 2 games. I mean, again, they lose the series to the Pirates. And the Pirates might be pretty good, too. But as good as what the Pirates can be, the Reds should be better. The Reds have been more aggressive. They have an overall better roster. If you let the Pirates surpass you this year, that's a problem. That's a problem. But like I said, everyone wants to blame the front office. I've seen it a billion times already. Well, if the front office would have done this, if the front office would do this, I'm sorry, but as much as we like to blame the front office for a lot of things with this team, I just can't for this particular stretch. The Reds are not 3-3 right now because of the front office. The Reds did not lose the last 2 games of that Pirates series because of the front office. They lost the last 2 games of that Pirates series, and really they've just been as bad as they are 6 games in because TJ Friedl is 2 for 22. That's not on the front office. All right, Matt McClain, who showed so much promise his rookie year, just like he showed promise throughout his minor league stretch. I mean, he's 4 for 21, hitting 190 with 8 strikeouts. That's tied for the second most strikeouts on the team with TJ Friedl. And those 2 have the second most strikeouts on the team behind Elly De La Cruz and Eugenio Suarez. And I don't think any of you are surprised that Eugenio Suarez and De La Cruz are tied for the most strikeouts on the team. That's going to be the number moving forward. You know what's interesting? As bad as Brian Hayes has been, he's 1 for 15. He's no strikeouts. He doesn't strike out. He's walked a couple. 1 for 15 is Brian Hayes, but no strikeouts. So there's that. But yeah, I blame the front office for a lot. I don't blame them. Like at some point you got to point at the players, and I'm pointing at the players. It's on them right now. This little funk that they are in is on them. There's only one team in baseball worse at hitting the baseball than the Cincinnati Reds, and that's the Athletics. And the third worst hitting team in baseball is the Guardians. So I don't know if can't be the weather. The weather's been fine in Ohio, a little rainy and windy from time to time. And I know the Guardians started the season on the road, but the Reds have been fortunate. I mean, all 6 games that they've had so far have been at home. And now they hit the road. As far as that goes. As far as what's coming up for your Cincinnati Reds, again, an off night tonight. They kick off a 3-game series tomorrow. In fact, the Reds will preempt my show tomorrow, probably a good thing. But 3:30 pregame coverage will begin for the Reds and Rangers at 4:05 first pitch. Hopefully we get a better outing from Brady Singer than we did the last time. Brady Singer, Rhett Lauder, Chase Burns are your Reds' next 3 starters. That's your lineup right there. Not your lineup, but that's your pitching matchups or your pitching schedules right there. I can't talk today. That's the pitchers coming up for your Reds. How about that for the Texas series? All right. But Singer, Lauder, and Burns will take the rubber again in that 3-game series against the Rangers in Texas. That starts tomorrow, 3:30 the first pitch with the 4:05 first pitch. 3:30 pregame, I'm sorry. And then right after the 3-game road stretch at Texas, they will remain on the road for a 4-game series at Miami. And you will see Williamson, Abbott, Singer, and Rhett Lauder once again. Now, there is a chance that we could see Nick Lodolo come back. Nick Lodolo is scheduled for, of course, a rehab start coming up, which I believe is next week. And I think that would put him in position to be able to be playing right around the tail end of that Miami series. So we'll keep you updated on that as we hear more. The Reds won't return home until April 10th for a 3-game stretch with the Angels, and then the Giants will be in town for 3 more. But it looks like the Reds have 6 at home, 6 on the road, 6 at home, 6 on the road, and then it just seems to be 6 at home, 6 on the road, 6 at home, 6 on the road. That's a weird little stretch that they're on right now. Maybe that's by design. I don't know, but that's your stretch. One more time, again, they wrapped up the series with the Pirates. They after taking 2 of 3 from Boston in the opening series of the season, they dropped 2 of 3 against Pittsburgh losing 8-3 in games 2 and 3. 3 with the Rangers, 4 with the Marlins. That'll take you through April 9th, and then you'll have the Angels and Giants from the 10th through the 16th. So keep that in mind. But the Reds do not play a divisional opponent again until they play Pittsburgh again on May 1st. They start a 3-game series at Pittsburgh on May 1st. That's the next time that they go up against a team in their division. And then, that's back-to-back division series. So you'll have Pittsburgh for 3 to start May, and then you'll have 4 at Chicago. The next time an NL Central team plays at Great American Ballpark, which is crazy, will not be until May 22nd with St. Louis coming to town. So keep that in mind. But, the Reds don't even play the Cardinals until June 5th. That's kind of wild that a lot of these games that are played – oh, no, I'm sorry. They do play the Cardinals. So the Cardinals – I just said that. The Cardinals will be at Great American Ballpark. It's the Brewers, I'm sorry, that we will not see the Brewers on the schedule until June 22nd. So the Reds will go – all of April, all of May, and most of June. I mean, they would have played the New York teams twice before they play Milwaukee once. And then they'll play the Pirates for a third time. They play the Pirates. They have 3 series with the Pirates in the first half of the season. They have 3 series with the Pirates in the first half of the season, and then they'll play them for the final time. The final series between the Reds and Pirates will be July 30th through August 4th. And there's too much of the season left, and they won't have anything with the Pirates there, which will be interesting. I think the Pirates are better. It could be the Reds and Pirates, competing for one of those final spots. Who knows? But all right, good stuff. Kozar Newsome on YouTube, appreciate you watching. Says, as a Cardinals fan, I just know the month of March is probably the only month that will be over 500. The NL Central, man, it's interesting. I thought it was a bad division last year. 3 teams made the playoffs. Is the NL Central like the best non-competitive? How do you word that? I guess it's a competitive division. How would you describe the NL Central? Like, the Brewers were one of the, not just the best team in the, they were one of the best teams in all of baseball, but like no one fears the Brewers, even come playoff time. I mean, a lot of people were like, oh, the Brewers are our sleeper World Series team. The Brewers didn't do anything. Like, the NL Central is always strange to me. I feel like, I mean, again, you had the Brewers, Cubs, Reds right at the top. I mean, the Cardinals have always been competitive. They've obviously taken a step back the last couple of years. But, man, I'm just like, man, that I can't get a good feel for the NL Central. I think it's going to be competitive, but being competitive doesn't mean you're good. The Brewers, Cubs, and Reds were all playoff teams a year ago, with the worst team being the Reds that made it 83-79 on the season. The Cardinals and the Pirates, the 78-84, 71-91 a year ago. But, like, the Cardinals aren't very good this year. The Pirates are improved. The Reds are better than they were a year ago. The Cubs are solid. Brewers are solid. I just can't get a good feel for what this division is. As far as it's the same players, but I mean, it's going to be competitive. I think a lot of these teams are going to be competing to the very end within 5, 6, 7 games of one another. But who knows? All right. I'm Justin Kinner. It's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio, 937-518-1410. Kozar Newsome says, yes, the NL Central is the AFC North in football. You know, it really is like the AFC North in football. I mean, you always have that, like, and he's not wrong. Like, up until about the Joe Burrow era, there was always one Super Bowl contender. And especially because the Ben Roethlisberger era, as it winded down, Steelers were never a Super Bowl contender, but they were a playoff contender. But like, they were never a threat to win anything, right? Like the the Cubs were kind of like the Ravens. All right. The Cardinals were kind of like, I guess you would say, Pittsburgh, good, competitive. And then the Brewers kind of like Cincinnati a little bit. The Bengals, like they're competitive, they're solid, they're okay. They're just, no one ever fears them, right? And then there's the Browns, which is the equivalent to the Pirates. I don't know. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I mean, but yeah, I could see that. But as far as this current group, yeah, I think like the AFC North next year, like the Ravens, really good. They're like the Cubs. The Bengals are capable, kind of like the Brewers / Cardinals. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. But this NL Central is a weird division this year. It really is. 937-518-1410. Hour number 1 in the books. We'll be right back.
Oh, my house needs some help. It needs a new roof, new windows, and siding if I can afford it. I just don't know who to call. Your house is updated and looks so nice. Who does your work?
Buckeye Home Services does all my work. Their prices are affordable, and they do a great job. Call 586-6600 for a free estimate. Buckeye does roofing, siding, gutters, leaf guards, windows, doors, patio covers, even kitchens and baths.
Sounds like they're the ones to call. What's that number again?
Buckeye Home Services, 586-6600.
Trying to keep up with today's fast-changing digital landscape? With more ways to consume content than ever before, it is getting harder to reach your customers. You need more than just a presence. You need the experts at Conrex Digital. We craft websites that convert. We curate engaging content on social and blog channels. We generate quality leads through Google and Meta. We dominate your competition on streaming TV. Bold marketing, real results. Conrex Digital makes it happen. Visit conrexdigital.com. That's conrexdigital.com.
Dayton's radio home for Buckeyes football. 1410 WING. Dayton's ESPN Radio.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Our forecast: chance of showers and thunderstorms, and 66 tonight. Chance of showers and thunderstorms, 80 tomorrow. Saturday, chance of showers and 81. I'm Rick Schreck for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Upgrade to a new quality bath remodel in less time with minimal inconvenience and for less money with Bath Creations in as little as 2 days. We do it right. There are a lot of others boasting about bath remodels these days. Well, Bath Creations' expert craftsmanship and customer service speaks for itself. Plus, all first responders, veterans, and active military will save an additional $500 off your purchase. Visit our beautiful showroom at 8741 North Kimmel Road in Clayton or at mybathcreations.com and upgrade your new bath today.
Progressive knows you want to get away, but not like too away. You crave the unknown, but also charcuterie boards with 4 types of cheese. And that's exactly why you bought an RV and bundled it with Progressive, because 24/7 protection is one luxury you'll never have to give up. So go ahead, explore the wilderness, all from the comfort of your zero-gravity camp chair. Switch to Progressive and protect your RV, boat, or motorcycle by bundling with your home or auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
I'm Roger from Columbus. I've lived in Ohio all my life. Owning your home is a cornerstone of the American dream. But for seniors, property taxes keep going up and are costing us everything we've worked for. They're even making it impossible for my grandkids to afford their first homes. Vivek Ramaswamy believes when you own your home, you're in charge. As governor, he'll roll back property taxes to levels from before the end of the pandemic. It's a practical plan that will put thousands of dollars back in your pocket next year while maintaining strong education and dependable police and fire. Ohio's politicians have ignored this crisis for too long. But Vivek Ramaswamy isn't a politician. He's an entrepreneur, and he's ready to fight for you. Ohio needs a leader who makes your life more affordable. That's Vivek Ramaswamy.
Lower costs, bigger paychecks, better schools. Vivek Ramaswamy for governor.
Paid for by Vivek Ramaswamy and Rob McCauley for Ohio.
Stop by the 50-yard climate-controlled archery range at Old English Outfitters for the perfect weather-controlled activity. They offer private lessons. Visit Old English Outfitters in Tip City, Ohio.
When getting the job done right is job one, you need construction equipment that's built right. From compact track loaders to the world's #1 selling compact excavator, the Kubota construction lineup features durable Kubota engines, more comfort, and the versatility to do it all and do it right. Visit your local Kubota dealer today. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Stop by Columbus Equipment in Columbus, Dayton, or Toledo to see their full line of Kubota construction equipment, or check them out online at columbusequipment.com.
Shh, here it comes.
Surprise! The people above your catering business are doing major construction, and the drilling is only during business hours. It's so loud.
Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money, getting personalized discounts on a commercial auto quote with Progressive.
Also, that isn't powdered sugar on the floor. It's plaster from your ceiling.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life, your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. 2689 Commons, Dayton.
Hey, Andy, you need to check out Gem City Water.
What? Another company selling bottled water?
Just the opposite. Gem City Water is a local company that offers affordable reverse osmosis systems and installs them for free. You can have pure, great-tasting water right from your own tap in your home or office. My water is tastier, healthier, and eco-friendly.
Okay, I probably should. I know I need to drink more water, and I'm so tired of buying bottled water. But how do I get info on Gem City Water?
Just go to gemcitywater.com. You'll be glad you did.
Geno Smith. There was no plan. It wasn't going to be Aiden O'Connell.
Life can be hard, so Progressive makes bundling your home and auto easy. Hope that helps. Learn more at Progressive.com or call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Now, back to the Justin Kinner Show, right here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM.
Justin Kinner back with you here, hour number 2. I am about to move on from the Reds. We'll get back into the Reds more in a moment later, but I want to switch gears to the NFL. I'm just answering a couple final questions or just responses in the chat. I said earlier, if TJ Friedel continues to struggle at the level of which he has, okay, TJ Friedel right now, in the 10 games that he has played, I mean, again, the 2 hits or whatever, like he has just not contributed. It's 6 games. People keep saying it's early. I don't care. It's the Justin Kinner Show here on April 2nd on a Thursday at 4:06 p.m. And the Reds have only played 6 games up to this point. So that means I'm giving my opinion based on the 6 games that I have seen. All right? I'm not giving my opinion on the 156 games remaining because those haven't happened yet. And the opinion on the upcoming 156 games, and hopefully more, are, my viewpoint on those upcoming 156 games are impacted by what we've seen from the games up to this point. I've never been a believer in the fact that, it's too early. When Sal Stewart's playing really, really well, we sit here and we get excited. Sal Stewart's the man, and Sal Stewart's this, and Sal Stewart's that. No one says, okay, Sal Stewart, another great play, but let's relax. It's early. No, we don't do that. So if we could praise a guy for playing well 6 games in, I'm sure as hell going to criticize guys, plural, who have been absolute booty cheeks for the first 6 games. If TJ Friedel struggles continue, what I had shared earlier was I think that the Reds, really at some point have to consider multiple moves. I've always looked at Ellie's skill set and said, man, I think he'd be a pretty damn good leadoff hitter. Now, the strikeout numbers concern me, which is why I guess I wouldn't lead him, put him in that leadoff spot. But if you take TJ Friedel out, who are you putting in that leadoff spot? Who do you want in that leadoff spot? Old school baseball, you would put your fast, super athletic guy, right? You lead him first just to get on base so you have a chance to move him and advance the runner. And that, to me, I would kind of go a little old school in that. I want Ellie batting leadoff. He's capable of hitting the ball to the ballpark, yes. I know he led the team in home runs last year, but they were one of the worst power-hitting teams in baseball. I just think at the end of the day, I would put him leadoff. With what he could do when he gets on base and with the guys that are batting behind him, I wouldn't mind seeing him bat leadoff. I just wouldn't. I think that, but the only reason that the Reds have never been pressured to consider that is because TJ Friedel's been a very, very good leadoff hitter. Is he an elite hitter? No, but I mean, he gets on base. He puts the ball in play, and there are stretches last year where he was their best hitter for good stretches at times. But TJ Friedel has to figure it out because he has not been good offensively 6 games in. So there's always that move for Ellie. Big picture, Ellie batting leadoff and moving him to the outfield. And in the chat, again, we're live on the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page. I got this from Scott Campbell when he talked about the last few times the Reds moved an infielder to the outfield. It did not work out well. Billy Hamilton and Nick Senzel. Noelvi Marte is a work in progress. I beg to differ about the Billy Hamilton and the Nick Senzel thing. Nick Senzel didn't work out being moved to the outfield. Even if you would have moved Nick Senzel, from third base to second, he wouldn't have worked out at second either. If you would have moved Nick Senzel to first base, he wouldn't have worked out there. If you would have moved Nick Senzel to catcher, he wouldn't have worked out there. Nick Senzel didn't work out in the outfield, just like he wouldn't have worked out anywhere because the guy couldn't stay healthy. He was the Joe Burrow of Reds baseball. I mean, it was unbelievable. I'm just kidding. Hunter Green is the Joe Burrow of Reds baseball. Superstar player who can't stay out there for his team. That's the Joe Burrow of Reds baseball. But no, you know what I mean? So I disagree with you on that one. I disagree about Nick Senzel. I don't think that was a failure moving him to the outfield. I think that was a failure of a run with him because he couldn't stay healthy. It didn't matter the position. I don't think you avoid moving a player to the outfield because it didn't work out with Nick Senzel. And I'm also going to disagree with you about Billy Hamilton. Billy Hamilton was a damn good center fielder. Billy Hamilton was a bad hitter. Billy Hamilton couldn't hit the ball. Billy Hamilton was fast as hell on the base paths. He was fun. He was electric. He was, charismatic. Fans loved him. I mean, every time that he would be a part of the group that would come to the hangar over here at the museum, the Air Force Museum, it would be unbelievable to see the amount of people that would just flock towards him. Fans loved him. I don't think that it didn't work out with Billy Hamilton moving him to the outfield. It's not like he could hit the ball and couldn't play well defensively. I thought he was a very, very good center fielder. He couldn't hit. So I get your point, Scott, but I disagree. I don't think that the Reds should shy away from moving Ellie to the outfield because it didn't work out with Nick Senzel and Billy Hamilton. Billy Hamilton was a very good defensive center fielder. He just couldn't hit the baseball. That's why he didn't last in Cincinnati. And Nick Senzel didn't last in Cincinnati because he would show signs of being a pretty good hitter, but he, and they moved into the outfield. He was just never healthy, always injured, always on the IL, never reliable. So I disagree with you on that as far as that goes. The Noelvi Marte thing, kind of the same thing. If he doesn't work out in the outfield, it's not like he's not working out in the outfield. The guy just can't hit consistently. He showed a lot of promise last year, and there's just not that same kind of the promise, So I don't know. Not a lot of. I want Noelvi Marte to work out because he looks the part. I mean, he's big, he's strong, and it's like if these guys can all just kind of continue on at the same time. I mean, if Noelvi Marte would hit when Spencer Steer's capable of hitting, if Matt McClain could be Matt McClain along with Ellie, you add Eugenio Suarez. If Tyler Stevenson was the power hitting catcher that he was, and he's a veteran, this is a good team. People get mad at the front office. I get it. It's fun to blame the Castellinis because I think he's an unlikable guy. He just is. Very arrogant, very brash. I mean, when he came out and said, "Where are you going to go?" It's no one's ever going to take his side. All I'm saying is to sit here and look at their struggles 6 games in. You can't point the finger at the front office. I'm looking at these cats right now on this roster and saying, guys, this is you. This is up to you to turn it around. You were good in high school. You were good in college. You were good in the minors. The majority of these guys were all ranked in MLB's top 100 prospect list. These are good ball players. They got called up because it wasn't like, the Reds thought they were good and they ended up not being good. All of Major League Baseball was telling you that these were good players. That's why I'm always like in the middle on the Reds front office when we evaluate them because they make good decisions when it comes to who they draft. They make good decisions on the coaches and the scouting department and who in the personnel that they place in these farm systems in Dayton. Obviously, whether Louisville, it doesn't matter. You don't get that type of talent if you don't evaluate if you don't evaluate and scout well. You don't get that type of talent if you don't evaluate, scout, and develop well. You don't get that type of talent if you don't do all the behind-the-scenes stuff that gets them prepared to be called up. No one was called up for the Reds that all of baseball said, I'm surprised they called him up. Every single one of these guys were considered elite top prospects. I don't mean like top 5 prospects. I mean, some of them, you look at Chase Burns, all right? You look at Hunter Green. Now, I get it. A lot of them, have ended up being, pitchers. But a lot of, Matt McClain, Ellie De La Cruz, Tyler Stevenson. I know he's a veteran, but years and years ago. Guys, like this is why I can't blame the front office. They've made good decisions with their personnel, with their scouting, with everything. That's why I'm looking at the players and I'm like, this isn't on Castellini. This is on Matt McClain. Ellie making the mistakes he does too often. That's not on the Castellinis. That's on Ellie. Oh man, the Reds did a poor job showing him how to field a ground ball. Now, to his credit, we are 6 games in and Ellie has not committed an error. So kudos to him. Yet. And I hope it's not yet. I hope he doesn't. I'm not rooting for him to fail, but I just don't think Ellie's a shortstop. I don't. I think he's too tall. I mean, maybe it's something as simple as that. I think he's too tall. I think he's too lengthy. I think he's too, I don't know. I want him in the outfield, but that's besides the point. My point is I put a lot of the blame on the players, if not all of it, at this point. The Reds front office put together a hell of a pitching staff, and even some of those guys like Emilio Pagan. Oh my gosh, look at Emilio Pagan, the damn front office. No, that was a good move to keep Emilio Pagan. Emilio Pagan was going to get some serious dollars out on the free agent market. And he stayed in Cincinnati because it was a 2-year, $20 million deal with an option for year 2 for both sides. He can get out if he wants. And he's paid well. It's a good move. It was a good, aggressive move. It just was. I don't know, man. I don't know. Brian, what up, Brian? Brian, hope we have not spoken in a while. Hope you're doing well. Brian says hitting hasn't been great, but the pitching in the Pittsburgh series wasn't good, and the reason they lost the last 2 games. Brian, I'm with you 100%. The offense didn't put him in position to win games either. But yeah, pitching, you give up 16 runs in 2 games. That's not going to get it done. The Reds pitching was bad in both of those games. I'm with you 100%. No doubt about it. And it's one of those things where, and I'm pulling this up now just because I want to see what the final stat lines for some of this stuff was. But if you just go to game 2 against the Pirates, when you look at just the outing that he had, okay, game 2, and again, they lost. On 6 hits, he gave up 3 home runs. It wasn't a good outing. Burt comes in, an offseason addition. He walked 1 batter, but he struck out 2. He didn't give up a hit, didn't give up a run. Same thing with Maul. But Johnson, who comes in, who was an offseason addition as well. I like that addition, but he gave up 2 earned runs on 2 hits. All right, so that's a problem, right there as far as that's concerned. And then you look at yesterday's game, yesterday afternoon's game. And it was just another one. Andrew Abbott, who was really, really bad in spring training. All right. Looked very solid against the Red Sox on opening day. And I thought he looked shaky again yesterday. He gave up a home run. He gave up 4 earned runs on 5 hits. He walked 3 batters. And then, of course, Tito goes to the bullpen. Phillips comes in. He walks a couple, but he doesn't give up a run or a hit. Ashcraft, solid as usual, struck out a couple in his 1 inning, didn't give up a hit or a run. Santillan, he comes in for 1 inning, strikes out 1. Here's where, and I talked about this with a caller. I think it was a caller the other day that called in and was frustrated with Tito's usage of the bullpen. Last year, the Reds had a very solid bullpen, but because he would, for instance, let's just say you let Graham Ashcraft or Tony Santillan, you let one of those guys go in. He would put him in for multiple innings, and then by the time you got a little bit out of the All-Star break, that bullpen was worn down. Too many innings. But I think what we're seeing now is he's trying to get guys like a lot. And he said it in the postgame or in the pregame yesterday. Terry Francona did, saying that you have an off day today. It's another off day. They've had 2 off. You had the opening day and an off day, and then an off day a week later, less than a week later, right? So it's one of those things where they've had 2 off days in 6 days. And you have to get some of those arms out there, because you know what I mean? Like, so he's trying to get, but I do at times think he's throwing out too many arms. And I think we're seeing that a little bit. Emilio Pagan may not be being used a lot in regards to a lot of innings, in one particular game. He has 4 strikeouts on the season. He has 1 save on the season, but he's pitched in 3 games already, and he's pitched, 3, but he's got an inning in each one. I don't know. I don't know what to make of the usage of the bullpen. I get why he's doing it. He used the bullpen too much last year. They didn't have a lot of depth. That's why they went super aggressive in adding bullpen pieces in the offseason. And they were as aggressive as they were with getting bullpen pieces so they could do this. I just don't know if this is working. But that's, again, it's a smaller sample size, 6 games, but the last 2 games have not been good. I'm with you, Brian. I'm with you on that. That's something to keep an eye on, nonetheless. Ron Howard says that there's no reason to hurry back Green if the O can't get it fixed. I mean, if you can get Hunter Green back, you get Hunter Green back. I don't think you let the offense, play a role in that. I do think these guys are going to turn it around. You were going to 162 games. Guys are going to go on slumps. It's just really unfortunate that you have 5 or 6 guys in this lineup that are all slumping and starting out slow at the exact same time. I do not think that the Reds are truly the second worst hitting team in baseball. I just don't. But they are right now. Nonetheless. So, all right. I wanted to talk NFL. So when is the draft? I mean, I've been between college basketball and Reds baseball. I have no clue. I should know when the NFL draft is, and I do not. I know it's this month. It's at the end of the month, Thursday, April 23rd. Okay, cool. So we're not too far off from the draft, which, I mean, at times there's a little draft fatigue because, you start to get some of these analysts who I think just make up narratives because they've already put like that. A lot of the narratives at the beginning coming out of the NFL season and out of the college football season, believe those narratives. At this point, I don't believe any narratives that come out of these reporters' mouths because I do feel like they've written all that they can. So now I'm not accusing them of making it up, but I'm accusing them of just throwing stuff against the wall just to see if it sticks. Mary Kay Cabot said today on Ken Carman's show over in Cleveland that, that she's watched film on Ty Simpson and that she thinks that the Browns should take Ty Simpson at number 6 because Mary Kay Cabot and all the other Browns reporters, and I'm using this as an example, but it's across the board, and I'm sure you're seeing it with the Bengals too. The guys that the Bengals should take, the guys that the Browns should take, but we've written that already. We've reshaped what we've written already, and now we just got to write something different. So now Ty Simpson to Cleveland is going to be written about a lot, and who knows what'll be written about in Cincinnati because you got to mix it up because it's boring. Hey, I have to continue getting clicks, and I have to continue getting listeners, and I have to continue getting whatever across any form of media. All right, well, you know what, Cincinnati, man, I think they might go wide receiver at number 10. They ain't going to go wide receiver at number 10, but hell, if they were going to go wide receiver number 10, here's who I would take. And then that's how you get a whole other flock of media fans tuning in to click and listen and all that stuff. So I don't really put a whole lot of stock into that, but I am kind of curious what this latest mock draft looks like. Okay. So just put a little music behind there. The NFL mock draft right now, again, just kind of taking a look at who the Browns are taking, who the Bengals are taking. The Buckeyes are going in this draft. So just kind of taking a look. So according to, and again, there's 3 different analysts that are participating in this draft. Mel Kiper, all right, Reed Yates, and a couple others. All right, so there's Mel Kiper Jr., Matt Miller, Jordan Reed, and Field Yates. They all took their turns making selections through the top 100 picks, and Mel Kiper was responsible for the Raiders at number 1, along with Miller, Reed, and Yates, in that order behind. No surprise there. How about Fernando Mendoza going number 1 to the Raiders? I don't know. I mean, you guys saw this today. Kirk Cousins going to the Raiders as well. I like that move by the Raiders. Like, I do wonder. I wanted music behind it. I don't want the music behind it. I'm killing the music. Sorry. Kill the music. There's been a lot made. I'm not talking about Ty Simpson to Cleveland, but there's been a lot like I'm a big Dan Orlovsky guy. He's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet, and he gets dunked on the Pat McAfee show all the time. And I'm just like, he's just too nice of a guy, and he just gets dunked on. But like, he does a very good job. And he came out, and he was adamant that he likes the Ty Simpson film better than Mendoza's film. And he got absolutely buried for it. Okay. But when you look at what the Raiders did today, the Raiders are in a tough spot because if Fernando Mendoza is the name that I think it's the safest name you could take. Because if the Raiders take Fernando Mendoza, anyone that needed a quarterback is probably taking Fernando Mendoza at number 1. If you take Fernando Mendoza at number 1 and he doesn't work, the Raiders aren't going to be criticized as much. But if the Raiders take Ty Simpson number 1 overall and he doesn't work, now you look ridiculous, right? Like, I think that's why the Raiders are going Fernando Mendoza. I think that there's a lot of teams out there that might agree with Dan Orlovsky. And I think that's one reason why the Raiders decided to go and get Kirk Cousins. Everyone's doing this. No, this is a smart move because they went and got a veteran quarterback to kind of mentor. No, this isn't 1999 anymore. This isn't the early 2000s anymore. If you have the number 1 overall pick and you take a quarterback with that number 1 overall pick, you're going to play his ass. The Bengals didn't keep Andy Dalton to mentor Joe Burrow. It was Joe Burrow's team. Right? Oh, but look at Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes wasn't a number 1 overall pick. It's not like we're surprised that Patrick Mahomes is this good, but it's not like Joe Burrow, with as dominant as he was in college, he was viewed as the guy the second he stepped foot in Cincinnati, right? Like, we can all agree on that. And also, the Chiefs were a good team. Patrick Mahomes took over a good Chiefs team. Like, it's besides the point. But, like, the bottom line is we just don't see teams go. Every team that tries to be the smartest team in the room, and get the mentor quarterback to start, and then next year we'll play. No, if you do that, more times than not, that usually doesn't work. It usually doesn't work. You either have it or you don't. So I think the Raiders are telling you that Fernando Mendoza, that they're concerned about the film, that they're concerned about some of the stuff they've seen, which is why I think that they went and got that deal done with Kirk Cousins. That deal done with Kirk Cousins, did you guys see, everyone's like, it's just a 1-year deal. And I always have to go back and read stuff because yesterday was April Fool's Day. If you guys did anything like that, that was ridiculous. The people aren't even funny with that stuff anymore. The Raiders agreed to terms with Kirk Cousins earlier today, 2 days after Clint Kubiak said he wanted to add another veteran quarterback to the roster. I don't mind a team adding a veteran quarterback to the roster to help mentor. What you don't do is add a veteran quarterback to be the starter and be the mentor to the young QB in waiting. That doesn't happen in today's NFL. All right. Cousins' agent announced that the deal, which would pay the 4-time Pro Bowler $20 million in guaranteed money in 26, it will mark the 11th consecutive seasons that Cousins' contract will be fully guaranteed. Now, his agent, a winner again. Now, this is where that was interesting. The deal also includes a club option for 2 years at $80 million and could be worth up to $172 million over 5 years. Guys, the Raiders if they truly felt Fernando Mendoza's the guy, but they want a veteran quarterback to come in as a just in case to be a backup or whatever, you sign someone to a 1-year deal. They have wording in this contract. This could be potentially up to a 5-year deal. What? Everyone beating up on my guy, Dan Orlovsky. And then the team that has the clear number 1 overall pick, they're telling you that they agree with Dan Orlovsky. They're telling you. I don't think Fernando Mendoza, I don't know how good he's going to be or not, but I feel like there's a lot of, there's a few of them that have come out confidently. Dan Orlovsky saying, I mean, the tape is okay, but I mean, even watching him, he was great in that playoff stretch down. He was great in the playoffs down the stretch, but you know what? So was Will Howard. And I don't know how good Will Howard's going to be in the playoffs. Oh, he was great in the playoff down the stretch. So was Cardale Jones. Cardale Jones didn't work in the NFL. I don't know, guys. It's one thing if the Raiders just did this on a 1-year deal only. But they made sure to say, okay, well, this could be up to a 5-year deal. This could be up to a 5-year, $172 million contract. You're not doing that. Do you mean to tell me that when the Bengals are in position to get Joe Burrow, all right, Andy Dalton, here's the deal, because Andy Dalton's still playing all these years later, right? Can you imagine if the Bengals would have said, all right, Andy Dalton, listen, we want to keep you around. We're going to draft this Joe Burrow guy. We just don't know if he's going to work out or not. So we're going to sign you to a 1-year deal, but it's going to, it's potentially a 5-year contract. We would all be looking at the Bengals like they are ridiculous. But we all knew that Joe Burrow was the guy. The Raiders are telling you they don't know if he's the guy. Am I wrong? Do you guys agree? Like, am I onto something here? I'm telling you, like, no. When you have the number 1 overall pick and you have the top quarterback in the draft coming out, you would think that you're so confident in that guy that you're going to get a veteran backup. But I don't think you paid $20 million. Did you just give $20 million to Kirk Cousins to be the backup? No, you paid him to be the starter. And like, you're paying him to be the starter, so there's no chance that Fernando Mendoza is the starter, which means the film is telling you he's not a starter, which means Dan Orlovsky wasn't wrong. And the Raiders know that you can't not go with Fernando Mendoza, because if they get him and it doesn't work out, everyone will say, well, the majority of everyone out there said that Fernando Mendoza is the guy. You can't go wrong if you take him, because if he doesn't work out, he didn't work out. Everyone would have taken him if that's the case, except for a few. I don't know. But Fernando Mendoza going number 1 to the Raiders, I just thought it was interesting, the decision that the Raiders made to go get Kirk Cousins earlier today. Again, it's a deal that could be worth up to, it's a potential 5-year, $172 million contract over 5 years. If a club option for 2 years at $80 million could be worth up to $172 million over a 5-year times. I mean, what are we doing? Cousins is 37 years old. And maybe the Raiders trick everybody and they don't go quarterback at number 1. Maybe they go Arvell Reese. Maybe they go Arvell Reese. Who knows? Maybe they go, defense right there. Who knows? But the Raiders, according to ESPN's latest mock draft that was just released this week, Fernando Mendoza to the Raiders. That's not a surprise. We all know that that's the case. Arvell Reese going number 2 to the Jets out of Ohio State. Magua, the offensive tackle out of Miami that I really like, that if Cleveland, that if for whatever reason he happens to be there at 6 for Cleveland, I don't care if they don't go wide receiver and go offensive tackle. I would love that guy in Cleveland. Really, any team that needs an offensive tackle, I would go that route. But the Cardinals, they signed another tackle. I think Elijah Wilkinson or whatever his name. They signed another tackle. But you can never have too many good tackles. So I think if he is there, the Cardinals, it's a good pick for them, nonetheless. Tennessee Titans, Field Yates has them going David Bailey with the edge rusher out of Texas Tech. The Giants, according to Mel Kiper, Jeremiah Love, the running back out of Notre Dame. That would be interesting if Jeremiah Love, who is the best running back in this draft, goes to New York and kills it right there. And again, you think about, Harbaugh, a ground and pound type of style. You have a physical quarterback. You have a really good wide receiver and potentially a dominant running back. And Jeremiah Love, I like that pick for the Giants. Mel Kiper also has Mekhi Lemon going number 6 to Cleveland. I like that move. I'm telling you, because everyone thinks that, I'm wearing this. I like Carnell Tate. I've said for a while, man, I hope Ohio State takes Carnell Tate, but I don't think are we sure that Carnell Tate is going to be a number 1 wide receiver in the NFL? Because Cleveland could draft Carnell Tate and he would be their number 1 wide receiver, but would Carnell Tate be a true number 1 wide receiver? You know what I mean? Like that's what my concern would be if the Browns went Carnell Tate at number 6. Mel Kiper says that his top-ranked wide receiver in this class is Mekhi Lemon, the wide receiver out of USC. Cleveland's they're going on a youth movement at all their skill positions right now, and Lemon can create space for himself and knows how to vary his routes, which is something that is not the case for Carnell Tate. And I will say this, here would be my concern about Carnell Tate. And by the way, Buckeye wide receivers know how to play in the NFL. So I'm not doubting that he'll be great. But Cleveland, if they draft a wide receiver at number 6, you have to make sure that guy can go out there and not do it all, but do 75 to 80% of what you really, really need. Because I didn't like the Bengals taking, Jamar Chase years and years ago. Now, I was wrong. He worked out. But the bottom line is I'm never a fan of a team drafting a wide receiver that high. Because if you draft a wide receiver that high, he better be your true number one wide receiver. Not just your number one wide receiver, but a number one wide receiver. I don't know if Carnell Tate is that guy. Carnell Tate got to run freely in Columbus because everyone was paying attention to Jeremiah Smith, right? Like, and now I look at this particular situation where Mekhi Lemon, he was who everyone was defensively focused on. And he will be, if he is as good as what everyone thinks he's going to be, will be the guy that everyone's defensively locked in on, and he's used to playing that way. I have no problem with Cleveland going Mekhi Lemon, going that route over, Carnell Tate as far as that's concerned. The other thing I'll say is, as I sit here and look at this, I have no problem if Cleveland doesn't go wide receiver at all. If Cleveland goes defense right here, if Cleveland goes offensive line right here, I have no problem with that at all. Even if they went defense, if Cleveland decided to go Caleb Downs at number 6, who, of course, Miller Reed has the Commanders going, the safety out of Ohio State, Caleb Downs, they have him going to Washington at 7. If Cleveland said, you know what, we like Mekhi Lemon, but I don't know about at number 6. I have no problem with them going Caleb Downs. I really don't. If they want to add to that deep linebacker room of theirs, I have no problem if they go Sonny Styles at linebacker. And that's who, of course, they have the New Orleans Saints taking at number 8. The Bengals, they have Mansour Delaney, the cornerback out of LSU. The write-up on the Bengals is that DJ Turner and Dax Hill are talented, but Delaney would be an upgrade on the outside where he can win at the line of scrimmage with great quickness and instincts. I think I'm okay with that move. I think all Bengals fans will be fine with that move. You guys just they go defense, they're improved. I actually like the moves that the Bengals have made in the offseason. You guys know my opinion on that. I think the structuring of the contracts has been pretty stupid. I think the Bengals, when you look at all the free agents that were signed this offseason, the team, based on the way they structured them, they have the 2 biggest cap hit signings of all the free agents because the Bengals don't know how to modernly structure contracts. So they've kind of kicked themselves, like they've limited, like they still have money to go do things, but if they had someone that knew what they were doing in that front office, they would be able to get all of those guys and then some. But because you have to rely on the draft at this point, I like the couple pieces that they've added. I think it's safe to say, you can't go wrong with a couple of these pieces at number 10. I don't think the Bengals are going to mess up the number 10 pick. I don't. I think this is too deep of a defensive draft that I don't think that they're going to mess this up. Now, I could be wrong, but you know what I mean? Like last year, there was for the positions that the Bengals thought they needed last year, there wasn't a lot of depth. But, man, they had some options that were way better than the option that they went with in the first round or whatever. But, there's a lot of depth with some of the needs, especially defensive back, safety, that type of thing, nonetheless. But continuing to go down the list, by the way, they have Carnell Tate dropping out of the top 10, going to number 11, Miami. Basically he would be Miami's number 1 wide receiver because Miami traded away Jalen Waddle and they don't have Tyreek Hill anymore. So a much different looking Dolphins team. Moving forward. They do have the Ravens taking Jamad McCoy, the cornerback out of Tennessee, and continue to go down the list. We're talking about wide receivers. You could take Omar Cooper Jr., the star wide receiver out of Indiana, the Jets taking them at number 16. I'm just trying to keep a little eye on some of the AFC North teams. Again, I think it's Ione, the guard out of Penn State, going to Pittsburgh. And then Cleveland with their 24 pick, getting Caden Proctor, the offensive tackle from Alabama. Love that move right there. If you can get that type of offensive tackle that late in the first round, I'm all for it. I think that's a solid move, nonetheless. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. 937-518-1410. Brian Hetzel, Bengals fan, says Delaney would be a solid pick. Am I saying his last name right, by the way? I'm saying Delaney. Is it Delaney or Delane? But either way, Delaney, whoever, would be a solid pick, best corner, and they didn't reach. Yeah, I thought they reached last year with their first round. To be honest, I feel like, and I'm not hating here, guys, I'm being serious, the Bengals, my biggest problem with their picks the last couple of years is the majority of them have been reaches. They've ignored a lot of red flags. Like Eric All is coming back this year, but like to use as high a draft pick as they did on him with his injury history and then gets hurt as early as he did, you think of Burton, the red flags with him, with all the attitude issues, and he's not even a Bengal anymore. They ignored that. Like they ignore, Shamar Stewart, there was a lot of question marks about him even throughout his rookie season before the injury. So it's one of those where every time they think that they're the smartest guy in the room, it kind of backfires the last couple of years. So I think that this is a good pick if they end up with him. I like the free agents that the Bengals added. I really do. I think that, the Bengals defense was so bad. It was just kind of one of those things where, it was going to be really difficult to not marginally improve it, even with the lack of aggression in the offseason. I don't think it was the most aggressive offseason that they could have, but I do like, who they added as far as that's concerned. I like the Jonathan Allen move, that 2-year contract that they have for the next couple of years. Mafe, the defensive end that they were able to get. They got him on a 3-year deal through the 28 season. Like they got guys wrapped up on a lot of multi-year deals to where if things go well this year, you're going to have a lot of these pieces in place. You're going to have Joe, Jamar, T in place. They could get a deal done with Chase Brown here, and then now you have some of these defensive pieces locked up. They got the safety, Brian Cook. Those are all, I like all of those additions. I don't think they made one wow addition, but we've said for a while that the Bengals, they don't need to be elite defensively. They just have to be okay defensively. And I think already just with those moves, with the Jonathan Allen move, with the Mafe move, with the Cook move on the back, just to have a competent safety back there, I think that goes a long way. Getting the Risner deal done, the contract extension for, the guy up front. This is the first time in Joe Burrow's career where he's going to have the same offensive line in Cincinnati in back-to-back seasons. It's not a great offensive line, but it was solid. It got the job done. Kind of, you know what I mean? So we'll see. And then, like I said, the Joe Flacco contract thing was strange because I still think the Steelers are stupid. I think that the Steelers are really moronic, to be honest. They're doing this thing where I don't know if you guys saw this today. They believe that Aaron Rodgers is coming back, but they don't know. And I know it's the same thing every year. Aaron Rodgers is going to carry himself like this every year moving forward, just like he has every year previously since leaving Green Bay. And eventually, one of these times he is going to say he's done. And then one of these teams is going to look stupid, thinking that they have it all figured out quarterback-wise this deep into the offseason, and then finding out, oh, crap, we don't have a quarterback. But even if he does come back, if you are going to tie your season hopes to a 40-plus-year-old quarterback, if you look at Aaron Rodgers, whose name is sexier than Joe Flacco's, whose career has been sexier than Joe Flacco's, I get why you would gravitate towards Aaron Rodgers. But I honestly think that Joe Flacco would have made the Pittsburgh Steelers legitimate. I know the Steelers won the division last year. I know that all they do is win, 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 no matter what. We all know the song. But we're going to find out if that was Mike Tomlin's doing or if it's just a solid roster. Like, we're going to find out. I like Mike McCarthy. I think, when you look at the career statistics, I think he's better than Mike Tomlin from a career statistics standpoint. I still would take Tomlin, I think, if both are available, but Mike McCarthy knows offense. Joe Flacco in Pittsburgh, I think Pittsburgh is just I can't believe that they're putting this much effort into hoping that 40-year-old quarterback comes back. I would have been aggressive if I'm Mike McCarthy and said, Aaron Rodgers, it was fun coaching you. We both got each other a Super Bowl, buddy. But you ain't going to, and you could even say, well, Aaron Rodgers got Mike McCarthy that Super Bowl in Green Bay. That's swell. That's super. He's not going to get him a Super Bowl in Pittsburgh. And if there is a chance for a Super Bowl in Pittsburgh, I'm not saying it's Joe Flacco, but he gives you a better chance than Aaron Rodgers. Joe Flacco's good, guys. I thought he was butt in the first month of the season last year, but it's because Cleveland offensively was butt. What he did, how the Steelers could watch what he did in Pittsburgh, or I'm sorry, how the Steelers could watch what he did in Cincinnati and sit there and say, nah, we don't want that 40-year-old quarterback. We want that 40-year-old. I don't get it. Good for Cincinnati for getting Joe Flacco to come back. He wants to play. Now, my only semi-trolling comment I'll say here is, you guys got to, you could think I'm trolling and kind of not. Joe Flacco wants to play. Why do you think of all his options, why would he go to Cincinnati? He has no chance of being the starter in Cincinnati, or does he? He's not going to be the week 1 starter, knock on wood, but he feels he's going to play because like you and me, I don't think Joe Flacco truly believes that Joe Burrow can be healthy for a full season. And I don't think that's a hot take. I don't even think I'm trolling. I think I'm saying I think I'm kind of putting a disclaimer out there that I'm kind of trolling, even though I'm not. But it's because if I say anything semi-critical, you guys get all upset. But I think Joe Flacco picked Cincinnati because he truly believes there's a good chance he's going to start this upcoming season. Not all season, but there will be chunks of the season that he starts. Joe Burrow can't stay healthy. But yeah, like I said, I'm a Joe Flacco guy. And I thought what he did in Cincinnati last year was phenomenal, and it's unfortunate that defense was that bad. That defense who let Joe Burrow down on so many occasions equally let Joe Flacco down. The Bengals would have made the playoffs if they didn't miss the playoffs last year because Joe Burrow went down and injured. Once again, not a shot. It's true. If you go look at the offense, and I'm not saying that the offense is better with Flacco than Burrow, but statistically it was. That's not me trolling. I am pointing out that those stretch of games that Joe Flacco played, no, they were the number one offense in the NFL for that 4 or 5 week stretch. That's how bad that defense was. That you lose a talent like Joe Burrow, you lose arguably, like if we take health concerns out, I used to roll my eyes at this. I still think I'd pick Josh Allen I think just because of how physical he is and how durable he is and that arm strength and everything. I'm probably picking Josh Allen over Joe Burrow. I don't think I'm picking Patrick Mahomes over Joe Burrow. If we could promise that injuries don't play a role in anything moving forward, if we could just say the injuries no longer exist, I don't think I'm taking Patrick Mahomes over Joe Burrow. I do think I will always take Josh Allen. I still think he's the best quarterback in the NFL just because of his arm strength. I mean, statistically, just one of the best in the NFL. He's an MVP quarterback. But my God, he is a complete quarterback from the plays he can make with his arm to the plays he makes with his legs. Joe Burrow can't do that. That's not a knock. It's just the reality of it. I'll take Josh Allen over Joe Burrow, over Patrick Mahomes, over Lamar Jackson. I'll take Josh Allen because how durable he is. But now I'm getting into it because I just said you can't take injuries into account. So that kind of nullifies my argument there. But bottom line, you have Lamar Jackson, you have Patrick Mahomes, you have Joe Burrow, you have Josh Allen. If you could take injuries out of the equation, I think you're set no matter who you have. But based on what we know right now, I'm taking Josh Allen because of how durable he is as far as that goes. But yeah, like that's crazy to me that the Bengals lost Joe Burrow for over a month and some change. And that's not why they missed the playoffs. They were the best offense in the NFL in that stretch. Not because Joe Burrow was out, but that, again, the offense just started clicking. That's how bad that defense was. I like Jonathan Allen. I like Mafe. I like, I like the signings that they made. And keep in mind, too, they did a good job. They got Orlando Brown Jr. On the offensive line. They got that contract extension done through 28. We know what they did with Risner. Again, you get the safety and Brian Cook. I think the Bengals are very much improved. I think it all comes down to the number one reason that Joe Flacco came here, which is Joe Burrow. Can he stay healthy? Because if he, and by the way, I still think the Bengals can make the playoffs without Joe Burrow because Joe Flacco's there. Brian said Flacco would be better than Rodgers. Steelers need to play Howard. Yeah, I agree. Joe Flacco is better than Aaron Rodgers. And they both each have a Super Bowl. But Aaron Rodgers with his 4 MVPs, but we're not talking about a career. We're talking about the now. Right now, Joe Flacco is better than Aaron Rodgers. The Bengals' backup quarterback is better than the Steelers' starting quarterback. And Will Howard, earlier I said he couldn't play, but maybe he can. I don't know. We're going to find out. I mean, he's big too. He's built like Josh Allen. Will Howard's a huge quarterback. I think we know that, but I don't think we really for context, he's the same, he's built the same as Josh Allen. Can he play like Josh Allen? Who knows? Kozar Newsom on YouTube says as a Browns fan, I would take anything at 6, but Carnell Tate, including trading back. I feel he's not a 1. We know Butterfingers Jerry isn't a number 1 either. Yeah. Like the Browns and this, I'm glad you brought that up. Because for instance, in baseball, everyone's like, oh, who's that team's ace? Some teams don't have an ace. Like the Reds have an ace, right? But there's some years where you don't have an ace. Everyone acts like, oh, he's their number 1 pitcher, so he's their ace. No, you might, just because you have the Reds' best pitcher is so-and-so, it doesn't mean that the best pitcher is your ace. Now the Reds have an ace, but you know what I mean? And I think that's the same with wide receivers. I think that, everyone has a best wide receiver. It doesn't mean that you have a true number 1 wide receiver. So, and I think that's kind of where I'm at when it comes to, the Browns. Like Jerry Jeudy is their best wide receiver, but he's not a true number one wide receiver. He may be, he was the Browns' best wide receiver. He was not their number one because they didn't have a number one. So if you take a wide receiver at number 6, if you're Cleveland, he has to be a true number one wide receiver. And I don't know if Carnell Tate is that. And there's nothing wrong with Carnell Tate. He could end up going out there to be a really good number 2. But the Browns need a really good number 1. So I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that as far as that goes. Either way. All right, good stuff. It's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio. Oh, it's 4:49. Look at that. We'll wrap up the show when we come back. Justin Kinner Show here on a Thursday.
A is for ABS, B is for BCM, C is for CVT, D is for, don't worry, we're not going to quiz you, because at Carroll Works Tire, we know the auto industry is full of acronyms. But here's the one that matters the most: tire. Trust, integrity, reliability, expertise. Carroll Works Tire, keeping Dayton rolling from A to Z. Find us online at c-wtire.com or talk to a real human at 937-461-5441.
Menards has everything you need to grow a thick, lush, and healthy lawn. Keep your lawn looking its best year-round with Menards Premium 4-Step Fertilizer Program, designed to keep your lawn vibrant throughout the season. Visit our garden center and see all our lawn care products in store. And don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
From the Montgomery County Clerk of Court's office, I'm Shannon Crabtree. Join us for Clerk Mike Foley's award-winning Connecting with the Community speaker series, connecting citizens to local leaders. Join us on Tuesday, April 21st, as the Honorable Judge Walter Rice teams up with Director of Community Development, Debbie Lieberman, to discuss the county's reentry programs for returning citizens. That's Connecting with the Community from 6 to 7 p.m. at the Employment Opportunity Center in the Westtown Shopping Center on West 3rd Street in Dayton. Another example of how Clerk Mike Foley is bringing the courthouse to you.
Gold demand is skyrocketing to record highs. As more Americans rush to preserve their savings, will there be enough gold? I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe physical gold is the only way to truly protect your 401k or IRA savings. Gold offers tangible security that can't be tracked, stolen, or inflated. That's why I strongly advocate for gold IRAs. To learn more, text the word SECURE to 989898 now. Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust, and their thousands of great reviews prove I'm not alone. So don't wait another second. Protect your retirement savings today and see how easy it is to move your IRA or 401k into physical precious metals. Text SECURE to the number 989898 for your free gold IRA info kit. Again, SECURE to 989898.
Message and data rates may apply.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repair? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Visit us today at turbotrackrealty.com or give us a call and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Now, back to the Justin Kinner Show, right here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM.
All right, and we are back. It's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio. Only a few more minutes left. I did want to end with this. Last week, so much was made about the Myles Garrett stuff, about whether the Browns would trade him. And, then, of course, at the owners' meetings, there's like a lot of clips of, obviously, Andrew Berry and Howie Roseman talking and, sitting down and meeting a lot. Like, I don't believe, I think that the Browns, when they say, they've never really come out and said, we are not trading him. They just said, hey, he's a Brown. He's been a Browns lifer. And they're excited to have him in Cleveland. That is not really a quote saying we are not going to trade him. And I said before that the Browns need to figure out who they are. Are they a rebuilding team or are they a team that's trying to win now? And I know a lot of you are laughing because obviously they've made a lot of mistakes, but this roster is not bad. It's a pretty good roster. They keep missing the most important pieces. The most important piece, technically. I mean, if they had a serviceable quarterback, this team is winning on a bad year 8 to 9 games, right? I think that's the reality of it. They can run the ball. They have, the offensive line is fixed now. And again, they got to go out there and show that. But the moves they made in the offseason have been very solid. And then defensively, of course, they're elite defensively. But as I've stated before, I've compared it to the Bengals before, where the Bengals are too one-sided heavy. They're Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and that's it. And that's why this offseason, it was all built on, hey, we got to get this defense propped up. Our defense doesn't have to be elite. It has to be better than what it was. So the Bengals, how do you become more balanced? You look at some of the best teams in the NFL. There's some teams in the NFL, like they're not super dominant at one thing, but they're not super bad at one thing either. And some teams are just good at building rosters through the draft and through free agency, and they don't have as many holes to fill, so it's easier to be balanced. But because the Browns have been so bad at wide receiver and quarterback, it doesn't matter over the years that they've been elite running, elite offensive line, and elite defense. That's how bad they've been at QB and wide receiver. Michael Cooper, of course, all things excluding him. And it's the Bengals, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. What more can you ask for? Well, a lot, because they haven't had an offensive line. They're rated near the bottom every year in the run game, and the defense has just been horrifically bad. So the Bengals have strived to be balanced. The Browns have to get balanced. And I think that the best way to do that, they have a top 5 defense in the NFL. They are a very, very good defense. They're elite, yes, because they have Myles Garrett. But if you had to trade Myles Garrett, there's one way to accomplish a trade with Myles Garrett that would help you in the future and help you now. There's really only one trade that I think would make sense for Cleveland if they wanted to balance this roster. How do you, because there was no really good available wide receivers in free agency, and I don't think that there's as good as Mekhi Lemon could be, as good as Tate Martell could potentially be, I don't think that the Browns have a chance to get a Jamar Chase or a Malik Neighbors or anything like that at number 6. So because of that, I just don't think that the Browns, who are still rolling out the same 2 quarterbacks that have really not been promising for them in recent years, and they haven't really, you're relying on a rookie wide receiver that I don't think is going to be a number 1 wide receiver in the NFL. It's just kind of one of those, this could be the same type of team next year. There's one way that you could fix that, where you might take a few steps back defensively, but still be very good defensively, and then become really good offensively as well. And I think how you do that is you look at a team like the Philadelphia Eagles and you say, all right, I want 2 number 1s. I want a 2 or a 3, and I want A.J. Brown in that deal. At the very least, you get A.J. Brown and 2 1s, or an A.J. Brown and a 1 and a 2 and some back-end picks, whatever. But that makes you better today, and it makes you better, sets you for the future as well. It gives you multiple draft picks, multiple ones that can help you now, but also for the future as well. You know, it's not ideal to trade a Myles Garrett, but I look at Cleveland, and I'm like, how are you going to get better? It reminds me, I'm not comparing them to the Patriots by any means, but the Patriots couldn't draft a wide receiver to save their life, just like the Bengals can't seem to draft an offensive lineman to save their life. Every team has that one position that no matter what, they just cannot figure out. The Browns cannot draft a wide receiver for anything. So I'm not confident that Tate Martell or Mekhi Lemon is going to break that streak. So if you have to get worse defensively to go get a for sure elite number one wide receiver, and you get two number ones on top of it, Cleveland's defense doesn't become bad because Myles Garrett leaves. They just don't. I mean, Aaron Donald might be the best defensive player ever, according to a lot of people out there, right? Aaron Donald left, and the Rams' defense has been very, very good. It's not as good as what it was with Aaron Donald, but it's been very, very good. Cleveland's defense will be the same. It'll be very, very good. Good secondary, good linebackers, very good pass rushers around Myles Garrett. You take him out just like when the Rams lost Aaron Donald. So, I don't know. You get A.J. Brown. You have a true number one wide receiver. You lose Myles Garrett, but you get multiple number ones, and you put that back in the defense, and I think that's how you stay balanced. The Browns need to become balanced, and I just don't think that they're going to accomplish that in this draft because there's just not a number one wide receiver that I think goes in there and changes things. That wraps it up for us. I appreciate each and every one of you. Sorry for yelling at you so much about the Reds. They drive me nuts. The Reds are off tonight. They'll be back at it tomorrow. 4:05 is the first pitch with a 3:30 pregame, so they are preempting my show tomorrow. That does it. Have a great Easter weekend, by the way. I didn't know it was Easter. I'm not going to lie. I just got an email from a coworker that said, have a great Easter weekend. I'm like, Easter weekend? What the heck are you talking about? It's Easter weekend. Good to know. All right. Enjoy your Easter, everybody. But I'll see you on Monday, and hopefully the vibes around the Reds are much, much different than what they were on today's show. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your night. It's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio.